Happy Nurses Week! Welcome to our Stat Sisters Special Nursing Week mini pod episode. This week we interviewed nurses and asked them to share their nursing stories and advice. I had a great time talking with these fabulous nurses. I hope you enjoy this special mini podcast. Welcome to another Nursing Week special mini podcast. And today I have a special treat, my friend Crystal Styers, who is a nursing assistant or what we call a patient care assistant here with me. We both work at St. Mungo's in Houston. And I just wanted to have her on and talk about being a nursing assistant. And we had talked on a previous podcast, Erin and I, about nursing assistants and how awesome they are and how vital they are and how lessons that nurses learn if they've been like a CNA or a nurse or a nursing assistant or a PCA, how they're invaluable and they just make the best nurses. But not every nursing assistant goes on to be a nurse. And that's awesome because we need great nursing assistants to help us out. So Crystal is going to just share with us a little bit of what brought her to this position.
Well, there's many avenues I could take with that, but I think from childhood I always wanted to be a nurse. I used to carry Band-Aids around and pretend like I had boo-boos, and everybody had a boo-boo, and I would treat them. And I woke up one day and I was 41 and I'd been in a hospital for 5 years. So I think it could be fate. I think it could be, a dream as a child to become something that I thought was very significant in society that I'm still working on. And how I ended up at this particular hospital is I turned to fate. I was a volunteer here, and somebody said, "Hey, you should be an assistant nurse." And I said, "Okay, does it pay decent?" And they said, "Not bad." And I said, "Anything's better." I'd been laid off as a teacher in a crucial time here in the United States, and I was game. So I jumped on it, and I felt like it was leading me to something that I had dreamed of being, and that was a nurse.
Awesome. And I know you are planning on going to nursing school. You've been working towards that for
5 years.
Yes.
Long years. But
yes. And when that happens, the nursing as a, nurses will be like glad to have you amongst us. But I, right now, am super glad to have you in what capacity you are in because you are a great nursing assistant and you come to work, you have a great attitude, and nothing's too big or small, and you're like one of the people that just know everything, knows where all the secrets are, and like knows where to get things, and knows like just all the stuff that I depend on. And so like I totally appreciate you, and I love just hanging out with you because you're like have a really quirky, awesome personality, which I totally dig.
And I'm nodding in compliance to all this. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes. So we're talking a lot about like resilience in the nursing profession, and being a nurse or nursing assistant is super hard. Being in anything in healthcare, it is really hard. And you've been a kind of a servant for a long time because you were a teacher, and I know that you've done other service type work, volunteer work and paid work for your whole entire life.
Yes.
And so any kind of service work is draining. And so you have to hold on to those pieces of resilience that you acquire along the way. And so I was hoping that you had like maybe a story or two to share of like what keeps you going every day.
I think some days are harder than others. And I think that's in any job, in any profession. Service-oriented jobs are incredibly difficult because a lot of times you're having to not act in the natural human desire of selfishness and really put yourself second. And I think that can wear you out sometimes because people can take advantage of that, and or you are like me, I overdo it, and then I kind of feel just ran out because I overgive, if you will. And that's part of my personality, and there's things I have to work on, blah, blah, blah. But I think that there's a human essence of serving others that for only God knows was established in me early in my life and put in my heart.
You're not the first one to cry. I cried in the last one.
I don't know. Sometimes I get up and I think, why do I do this to myself? And why don't I just get a regular old job and be a suit, and make way more money and not deal with people, or if you will, some of them are animals. Sometimes are more charming than people. But I don't have a lot of allergies to people for the most part, and somewhere in me, I love them. Even the difficult ones, from children to adults to the elderly. There's a huge compassion in me for others, and that is only by the grace of God, and it can only be divine, because I don't think we have that natural instinct. I don't think it comes naturally. I think it was a gift. And many days, like today, it's been a little difficult, whether it's me or whether it's others. It's neither here nor there. I still am here, and I still want to figure it out, because it's innate.
Oh, Crystal, that is so perfect. I think we forget about that, and it's okay to cry about it, because it is like nursing and taking care of people. It's personal.
It's very personal, and I think that's why it still brings you joy, because you see people at their rawest. You sometimes can be at your rawest, but that's real.
Mm-hmm.
We walk around with masks on so many hours of our lives, and I walk into a room and I see somebody in pain, and I might have just had an argument with one of my coworkers, or somebody might have just hurt my feelings, and I walk in, and for just a second, if I can let that go, I can comfort somebody in a very real, raw, human place with no masks. And that is what brings me to work every day.
Okay, now I'm gonna cry. Crystal, that is so beautiful. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna miss you so much.
Same.
Oh,
Same.
Okay, the whole podcast is gonna cry.
I think about that question quite regularly, and it all comes back to that.
Well, that's awesome. I don't know what else. So I was not expecting that, because you are so upbeat all the time, that I really appreciate that you just dropped your mask a little bit just to see that and share that with all the listeners. I think that's really helpful, because anybody that's felt that call to help people will completely relate to what you just said.
And it's hard, and you sometimes don't believe the call is there, or that urging. And you look constantly on the internet sometimes, especially bad days, for other jobs, something else that fits. You pray, like, why? And then you see a mother, and actually in this area, I'm more moved by the father's tears sometimes, or the partner's tears, when they see their new living creature come out of their mother.
I know that's my absolute favorite part of a birth, is when the husband or partner looks at the mother, and the mother's totally engrossed in the baby, but the look that is on the partner's face of just awe and amazement and gratitude and just almost worship of the person that just brought this life into the world, that gets me every single time. If I see that, I will cry in a delivery, even though I've been in thousands.
Yes. And another big one that just melts all of the superficial things that maybe we struggle with during the day is when things go south.
Right.
Out of nowhere, I get a bleeder, or something's wrong with baby. I don't care if I was mad at you or you hurt my feelings or I didn't do something right 10 minutes ago. I'm going to do it right now.
Right.
And I'm going to step up. And there's a vulnerability there and fear there that you might do it wrong again, but people come in and they get it done and good things come out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it feels like all that extra, those petty things that we care about so much or we think we do in that moment, it just falls away. And we all remember why we come and we serve and we protect and we help.
Absolutely. I think anybody can relate to that. Like when the chips are down, everybody's in, like all in. And we do leave everything. It's too bad that we can't leave everything like that all the time, but that might be asking too much of humans.
Yeah. But I think this the push and the pull of all of it, whether it's superficial or deeper or whatever, I think there is that's the celebration of being human, going through all these feelings and processing and learning about each other and just the human race and learning how next time to say that or this or maybe not say anything at all or just watch the father see his wife deliver a baby for the first time or put yourself out of that emotional extra when the chips go down and you just get it done.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's the best part about this industry is there's many times that we're asked to step up, whether we're a PCA or a doctor or a nurse or anywhere in between, all the extra staff. And we do. And at the end of the day, you can say you did it. I stepped up. Maybe not perfect. And I helped somebody.
Well, I think that's a perfect way to end our little segment here.
Okay.
Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it.
I'm excited for you and your future and blessings to your family.
Thank you so much.
And everybody out there.
Thanks for joining us for this special Nurse Week mini podcast. It was such a pleasure to speak with Crystal Styers. Leave comments for our wonderful guests on SoundCloud or YouTube and rate Stat Sisters on iTunes. We have new mini pods every day during Nursing Week, so make sure to check back for more awesome interviews. Happy Nurses Week, everyone.